I'm Justine Martin, and welcome to the Prosperity Show. You can expect in this episode a mixture of absolutely everything. How to gain resilience, what Moxie is, and everything in between.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Online Prosperity Show. And today, we're thrilled to welcome back Justine Martin. I mean, this is the second time you're on the show. There must be something good that we're doing. Justine, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you, Prosper. And yes, second time on here. Thanks for having me again.
Absolutely. Well, with the track record that you've been showcasing, this is probably not going to be the last because you're yet to launch your new book that's coming up, and we can't wait to have you on the show to talk about that.
Yes, we're a couple of months behind, but better to get it right and then release it than rush it. So that's our philosophy at the moment. That's our excuse, and we're sticking to it.
Fantastic. But hey, you know what they say, Justin? Excuses only sound best to the person that's saying them. All right. We know you're here, and we can't wait to celebrate all the successes that you've enjoyed in 2024. That's something in and of itself. So for those that are just meeting Justine for the very first time, she is affectionately known as the Queen of Resilience. And for those that remember her from her last appearance, she actually promised to come back with more exciting projects. And today we're going to be talking about some of the work that she's done, the compilation book, Whispers of Resilience, stories with people that have gone through, medical conditions that she will be letting us know about. And, for those that are also meeting Justine for the very first time, Justine's journey is nothing short of extraordinary. I mean, from a diagnosis of multiple sclerosis to overcoming heart surgeries and multiple cancers, she just didn't survive. She's actually started using her challenges to propel herself forward. So when she is telling us that something is in the works, you should know that something is in the works. And I can't wait to share, her life story and everything else that she's been doing with you today. And this year alone, that she's mentioned, she is a multi-award winning author, artist, resilience coach, business owner, and of all, is it 7 companies?
Well, there is 7, but we say there's a top 5, so we're focusing on the top 5.
Absolutely. You might as well call it.
No more new ones.
Might as well call her Snow White and the 7 dwarfs, as she shares her hard-won wisdom to help others build unbreakable spirits. So I want you to buckle up because this is going to be an inspiring ride. And Justin, thank you so much for making the time. I know right now you are halfway across the country doing things that are remarkable, and yet you've offered us this time to record this episode. I can't thank you enough. Tell us, what's been happening since the last recording?
When was the last recording? Because I was trying to think how long it's been to fill in the gaps.
Absolutely. So it's almost a year now from
now. Okay.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So much has happened in that period of time. So I think Whispers of Resilience had just hit the market last time I was on. So that's a book that I compiled of 26 of us that all have multiple sclerosis that live around Australia, and what it's like to live with this incurable disease day to day. That book about 3 weeks ago actually won Best Anthology at the Able Book Awards in Melbourne. So I'm very proud of that achievement. From that book, there was a collection of authors that decided they wanted to write their own memoirs, or short books. And so Kerry, who was in that book, has just released released a little book with Heart, which is about her journey with MS, and also she's a poet. Now, Kerry can't actually move from the neck down, and it's a remarkable feat that, what she's been able to achieve. And Morpheus Publishing, which obviously is my publishing business, we gave her a scholarship to publish that book. So I'm very, very proud, and made her dreams come true of having her own solo book. And she had some poetry that she'd written in high school that we have managed to publish, as well as all the new stuff that she did. And then we had another author from that book, Harry, and she's gone on to write her own book, which she did 86,000 words in 6 weeks. Prosper. I mean, my mind just boggles on that one. And she's been a motivation for me to get my book done. And we've released her book. It goes on Kindle actually in 2 weeks' time, but it's available in paperback at the moment. And she's got her book launches coming up, two book launches coming up actually in Sydney in 2 weeks' time. And she had one in the UK in September as well. And it was quite ironic that Harry and Kerry's book was launched on the 14th of September this year, which is when we launched Whispers last year. And it just kind of happened that way. So that's been a dream for both of those to have their books published, and for us to be a part of it. What else has happened in my life? So much. I was diagnosed with mast cell activation syndrome, so add that to the list, as well as, the MS, and still dealing, with the cancers being in remission, but still having to have regular blood tests and making sure I'm still having infusions weekly of other people's antibodies, so then I can go out into the public. I've caught a couple of really good viruses this year that have knocked me on my butt, and had to go on steroids for one, and was not allowed to talk for 4 days. So I had a really bad lung, and I couldn't breathe very well. And my GP went, "Well, here you go, you're on steroids for 10 days, and no talking for the next 4 days," because every time I tried to talk, I'd lose my breath and start coughing, and it was not good. So how do you tell a keynote speaker they can't talk? And so my family and friends were all like, "Wow, this is the quietest we've ever heard you." I'm like, I'd be writing down, doesn't mean that I can't work. So I'd still be on the computer working. I just couldn't answer phone calls or talk. I've done a lot of traveling this year, which has taken its toll on my health. So it's okay, looking forward next year on being a little bit smarter with the traveling and what I'm doing. I've won a lot of awards again this year, which has been absolutely amazing, as well. And there's been lots more books that have come out. So there was a big book that I was working on, called Finding Hope. And that's a children's book that I wrote and illustrated for an Australian charity called River's Gift. And they raise money for bereaved families of cot death. And we had, that was launched in May this year at their inaugural ball. And that was just mind blowing what they did with the book. And they turned it into songs, and they got characters out that I'd actually illustrated and turned them to full life, and they danced around this gala ball. And there was this 8-foot high book that we walked through an archway, and they were the pages of my book that I'd illustrated. So, just major dreamtime things that you would think would never come possible, but here they are, and achieving those things. So that book is going on Amazon, hopefully this month. There's been a delay with the stuffed toys. So as soon as the stuffed toys are available for sale, then we'll be able to put it all up. And we're doing a collaboration with the children's band, the Micmacs, as well. And they're going to read it on their YouTube channel. So, they've got a huge following of about 7.5 million people subscribe to their channel. So it's just mind blowing where, one collaboration has just taken it. And it was just that started off by just going up to them at a Geelong Chamber of Commerce event after hearing them talk and asked them if they had a children's book and had they considered one. And they just couldn't find the right person to do it. And they couldn't find an author or an illustrator. And I'm like, well, I'm an author, illustrator, and publisher. And a month later, we had a meeting, and a month later, the book was written, and then started illustrating it. So, don't ever be afraid to go up and ask someone a question, because it could be a 50% yes. All right. Yeah, they might say no, but what if it's a yes? And that's a philosophy that I, live by. Don't be afraid to ask, those questions. And, instantly we think of the fear of failure, or we're going to be judged or something like that. But what if they say yes? And, they said yes, and it's been mind blowing from that. Then I collaborated another book with a woman who has disabilities in far north Queensland. Her name's Amy, and 10 years ago, she put a quad bike into a tree at 100 kilometres an hour without a helmet on. Not a very smart move. But she's now educating people on what it's like to live with a traumatic brain injury. And she's gone on to have two little boys, and Jack and Harry, and they helped write the book, and I illustrated it and published that for her. So I drew all the characters, so her and her sons, as teddy bears. And when you love a teddy bear so much and bits of it start to fall off, and Nana or Mum sew it all up with a different colour thread, and you still love it regardless. So what I did with that was I gave her, because she can't use her right arm at all from the injury, is I gave her a patchwork arm. And so, like, the patchwork quilts.
Yes,
So
yes.
her arm is a patchwork arm, and she goes through with Harry talking about some of the things she does on a daily basis, and educating that way. So that book came out a month ago, and it's available on Amazon as well. And I've got all these other books in the pipeline, and as you know, I do my own podcast. So we released this year as well, season 1 of Resilience Mindset, Wordcast, we called it. Podcast Wordcast. And so I took all the transcripts from my podcast and put them into a book, got them edited and put them into a book. So there's been lots on the front with writing, as well as, trying to get Moxie finished. And I also co-authored another book on I'm So Glad You Left Me, it was called. So that came out last month as well. So I have a goal to write and contribute into 100 books. So I've done 12.
Wow. I'm
in
just being
3.
absolutely, Justin, and I'm just being selfish and thinking all these 100 books are going to be episodes on the Online Prosperity Show. But I really acknowledge and I really salute the effort and the work that you're putting into. This is 365 days where you're just showcasing stuff that you've done in the past year, whereas this would have been a lifetime work for so many people, which you've compressed into a year. And
I know, but there's more, Prosper. So we're doing another project as well. It's called Breaking the Barriers Through the Lens. And I've got a couple of business coaching clients, and they won't mind me mentioning who they are, because they've given me testimonials on my work. And one of them is Golden Frames Productions, and they're a photographer and videographer, husband and wife team. And they've been working with me all year, and they went from doing 4 weddings a year to now doing 20 weddings a year, and some event photography and videography as well. And Simon wanted to hold an exhibition, and he wasn't sure what topic or anything like that he wanted to do as the exhibition. And he popped in. He's actually my neighbour, and he popped over the road, and I said to him, why don't we do people with disabilities? And all of a sudden, I want to do a photography exhibition, and my brain got hold of it. It is now, so we have got our models. We got our models in over 2 weekends, and we did 20, 24, 25 of them, I think. And I organised, or we all organised, to have their hair done. So I have someone that works for me who's a hairdresser, Jojo, and then we also know a professional makeup artist. So we got that in, as we got makeup artist by Liz in, and they got their hair and makeup done, and then they had a professional photo shoot. Now, the idea was that we're going to have a professional exhibition up, and then I've taken it a couple of steps forward from that. We're also having a coffee table book with their stories in it. Now, on the day, what I did as well is I took them into another room, and Simon's wife, Julie, is the videographer, and we interviewed them. And so we now have all the audio and the video to put together a documentary for this as well. It might be a documentary series because there's so much footage. Maybe short, small little snippets. We're still trying to work it out now that we've got all the footage, and the coffee table book, and potentially then also lifting the audio and doing it as a podcast as well, which would be a sub-season to resilience mindsets. Because it's all about the resilience that these people actually have. And a lot of them don't look disabled either, but they are battling with disabilities each and every day, yet some of them do have noticeable disabilities. So we grab like the whole community, and we also grab different ages. So I think the youngest we've got is 18, and then the oldest is in her 70s. So there's a broad range of ages and genders and disabilities in that. So that's what we're working on at the moment. So we've started it, and it's been a massive project to actually undertake. It took 4 days of filming. That's how much filming we've got of it. And they were big days of photos and filming, and we all had so much fun, and it was so rewarded. I've got all the photos back, and wow, they look absolutely amazing. And we've been trying to keep them under lock and key. And the models are saying, "Oh, when do we get to look? When do we get to look?" But I really want to capture the surprise on their face when they see this. And we are putting a call out for sponsors of the book as well, because obviously the four of us, the four businesses, well, actually five if you count two of my businesses into it, have donated so much already into it that we're looking at people to help us produce the documentary as well as the photo book. So all the participants are not out of pocket in getting a book each from it. So if you know anyone, or anyone that's out there, would like to contribute to this project, it's not too late to do so. So that's our community project, and I like to give stuff back to the community all the time, hence why we give out scholarships for book publishing to those that would normally not be able to afford to do it. And then this community project as well. So there's been lots of other things, throughout the year, and lots of keynote speaking around the country, and that's been amazing as well. So anyway, next question.
I think we could just end the episode here. I mean, where do we go from there? But I really appreciate that, Justine, because in and amongst all of this, you did mention you picked up yet another diagnostic, and also your doctor told you couldn't speak for 4 days. And I'm thinking this is like vengeance on, now I can speak, you're putting it all out there. Somebody who would have been in the position that you're in would have maybe curled up in fetal position and said, woe is me, I need to look after me. But look at you going out, creating for and relating to not only the community, other people, that are within sort of, the journey that you're on. And this just spells out what you constantly say, that resilience is a journey, right?
Oh, it is. Look, and I've kind of changed up a little bit since the last time we spoke, Prosper, is that resilience isn't about bouncing back. right? It's
Mm.
not. It's about bouncing forward because we are never the same person from that life moment that we've just encountered. And I also look at adversities in a different way as well. Adversities are just a life moment. Now, life doesn't go in a straight line or, a level line. That's not life. Right? There's happy moments and there's sad moments, and there's some really tough moments that'll be there. It's how quickly you bounce forward from that lower point, or how quickly you can bounce up to that line again. Because we don't bounce backwards. We're not the same person. We've grown as a person through that life moment.
Absolutely. And I quite like that because not very few people have gone through stuff. Like we live in a very lucky country here in Australia. I mean, you go and wait by the bus stop, the bus is there at the time that it says it's supposed to be. I remember growing up, the bus would maybe show up an hour, couple of hours, or a day later, just depending on what the schedule is in the driver's head and
Yep.
things of that nature. And so many people hadn't gone through a tough moment up until maybe the last couple of years during the pandemic. And so many people are still hung up on that. Now, you're telling me in the last 360, you've had life-threatening and career-ending diagnostics, and yet here you are.
Yeah, I mean, it's about adapting and modifying as well to your environment. So when they told me I couldn't talk, and I couldn't talk for nearly a week,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, well, I'm going to utilize this. I can't talk on the phone. I can't do any Zooms. I can't do this. Where can I focus my time on instead? And everyone's like, you need to rest. You need to rest. I'm like, I'm typing back, going, I'm on the lounge resting. My feet are up. I can't watch mindless TV.
Mm.
I'm going to write. I'm going to utilize that time because I won't be interrupted, and put it into, something that needs my attention for that particular moment. So it's about adapting and modifying and not sitting there going, oh, well, I can't, all right, I can't work now because I can't talk. Well, I can still work and
Mm.
not use it as an excuse or a reason to not do that. But, I still look after myself as well, because that's vitally important. That if I'm not looking after myself, I can't do everything that I want to do. And, we do live in a very, very lucky country. I mean, we turn a tap on and we have fresh water. All right, we turn a light switch and we have electricity, we have light.
Mm.
Um, we have a roof over our head. We have the internet. We have clothes on our backs. We have a system that if you're in trouble, there's someone there that can help you in some way, shape, or form, regardless of what it is. So, if you're not liking where you are in this world or where you're sitting at the moment, you and only you have the capacity that you can change that, because that comes down to a choice. You can choose to sit and wallow and be on that self-pity train, or you can choose to improve your life. You can do free courses online and upskill. You can get a better job. All right. It might not happen overnight, but have a plan of attack. Okay, in 12 months' time, I want to be here. And in another 12 months' time, I want to be here. And then in another 12 months, I want to be up here, and keep upskilling. I'm constantly upskilling, but
Mm.
I can't learn the way that I used to learn. The way I used to learn, it was like instant. Okay, I can do that. I can't do that anymore. I have an acquired brain injury from the MS. That part of my brain is gone, but I have supports in place with NDIS to actually help me in that learning process. And I have to learn it differently. I can't just sit and read and compute it all in. That doesn't work anymore. I need someone to actually physically show me, to sit down beside me and constantly show me these things. It took me 2 years to work out how to use Google Drive. 2 years. Now I love it, but I was petrified of it to start with, and I needed someone constantly sitting next to me because I couldn't remember all the steps. And I still can't remember a lot of the steps, but that's okay. There's there's
Absolutely.
actually there's actually videos on YouTube that you can go to that show you all the steps.
Oh
So,
wow.
adapting and modifying on how to do these things.
And I quite like that you are saying that it's okay to ask for help because
Oh,
so many
100%.
people, I don't
They
know.
see it as failure.
Yeah, yeah.
People see it as failure.
You know what, Justin? I blame Hollywood for that because I don't know
Really?
if you said you don't watch TV, but maybe you would have come across this concept. In the Western movies where there's this lone gunman, he just comes riding on his horse and he comes into a town where everybody's sitting in a pub, and then he just goes to the counter and orders a whiskey, and then the barman is looking out for the bully of that village to say, are you gonna let this guy just walk in here and not do anything to him? And then when he finishes his whiskey, everybody's waiting behind him, and then a bar row sort of comes out from that, and then the lone ranger now fights with everyone. Yes, he does get a beating, but he then turns around and beats everyone in the pub, and then he walks out of the pub and he says, don't do that, don't you ever do that ever again, and then he rides into the sunset. And I feel like that's what a lot of people have taken that character and say, you know what, I'm that lone gunman who comes in, obliterates everything, and then just rides into the sunset. Whereas if you want to go
I
far, you
think
go
it's
alone.
also,
Mm.
I blame Instagram.
Oh, you've got someone you blame too.
Yeah, so let me tell you why. Because, Instagram, there's so many influencers and that
Oh,
put up this perfect that they're perfect in every way, shape, or form in their life, and
yeah.
that they don't need help in anything. And then all of a sudden, and magazine covers are the same. You see these perfect life in a magazine, and on movies as well, Prosper. You see them all. Where in fact none of them got to where they are without asking for help.
Mm,
You cannot build resilience without asking for help. It takes a tribe. It takes a tribe to build resilience in your own life.
if you
And
want to
that's
go,
your
yeah.
that's your family, that's your friends, that's your medical practitioners, that's your teachers, all of it, your counselors, psychologists, whoever you're seeing, they all give you support.
So if you
All
want to
right.
go far, you go alone, but if you want to go further, you go together. And you're still offering resilience coaching, right? For
Oh, 100%.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for
And business coaching as well now, but definitely resilience coaching and transformation coaching. And yeah, because you can't do it by yourself. You
mm,
just can't. I've been seeing a counselor now for 12 years.
right.
It's actually our anniversary on the 22nd of this month that I first walked in her office. And I don't know where I would be mentally without having that counselling
Mm,
from it, because I don't believe that it's my family and my friends' responsibility to hear me dump it all onto them. And then they'll have all their own opinions of stuff where I don't want that relationship with them. I want like a mother-daughter relationship with my daughter, not her hearing everything that's going wrong in my body and my life. I mean, she knows of stuff, and they all know of stuff, and because I'm quite vocal as well, on socials. But it's the other little details, and it's the things that, are worrying me, or um, getting my head straight in that regard, that I pay someone for all of that.
oh,
And, I'll go in for 45 minutes and I'll verbally feel
mm,
great. She gives me some strategies to put in place if I'm in those predicaments again, or that mindset, that wrong mindset. And then I walk out feeling great for the next fortnight. And then that relationship that I have with my family and my friends is fantastic, because they're not worrying about me because I've actually verbally vomited it to someone else.
The perspective that you just painted there is so deep for a lot of people because we now are running disgruntled, thinking that our loved ones are supposed to be the ones looking after us and feeling for us and also feeling how we're feeling so that we can feel loved by them. Whereas to them, they're also running their own lives. They just expect that relationship, which, like you say, a mother-daughter relationship or mother sister, sister relationship or things of that nature without the extra baggage that we might come along with. And yet so many people are obviously, yeah, you know
Well, so many people are embarrassed to go and ask for help in counselling because they're like, oh, I don't have a mental health problem. I don't know. I don't need that. I'm not depressed. I'm not depressed. I don't need to go to a counsellor. You don't have to go to a counsellor just because, of depression. You go to a counsellor to offload so you don't get depression.
Mm. Now, for our
That's
viewers that are not familiar with resilience coaching, like the way that you do it, can you explain how your coaching methods can actually help people not just survive, but actually thrive? Because this looks like, you've got a whole different, lived
perspective on things. Yeah, well, lived experience, that's right. I help people put strategies into their own lives that help them bounce forward quicker when adversities, bad life moments happen. So, and I can look at a situation and give them guidance outside of that box that they're stuck in. Have you thought about going and doing this? Have you thought about going and doing that? And quite often when people pay for an opinion, they'll listen to it. They could have someone in their life saying exactly the same thing, but all of a sudden they've paid for that opinion of someone and that guidance of someone. And that makes a big difference. But people who come to me for resilience coaching don't stay with me for years and years and years. That's not the point of it. It's to help them put strategies in place to get them through that life moment that they're facing, or to give them strategies to put into their life that the next time that they're facing an adversity, that they've got the coping mechanisms for it.
Absolutely, because what do they say? If you don't pay, you don't pay attention. And
Right.
that's just the way it is. So many people just might be given the best advice, but because, it's not coming from a source which is designated as the purveyor of such information, people will just actually not listen to that or take heed to that. Now, what would be the best way? I know you're jet setting and being all over the place. I mean, even Qantas has decided to bring you in and said, you know what, we might as well just interview you considering you're a frequent flyer. What would be the best way
That's
that
right.
people can get a hold of you there, Justine?
Look, I've got 5 websites, Prosper, but on LinkedIn, just Justine Martin. You can go to justinemartin.com.au. That will get you onto my speaking website, but just send a contact form through that. Resiliencemindset.com.au. Again, just hit contact on that. You can go to Linktree/Justine Martin Corporation, and that's got absolutely everything listed on that. You can Google Justine Martin Geelong and it'll pop up everywhere on there as well, or morpheuspublishing.com.au.
Absolutely. I'll make sure that all those links are in the show notes below, and then obviously people can make their way to get in touch with you. Now, congratulations, Justin. This year alone, I think you fill up a whole book with just the awards that you won.
I've got more coming. I've got 2 more to go. Two more. One, I find out this weekend on the Stevie Awards in New York, and then I've got the Geelong Disability Awards on the 3rd of December, and that'll round up a very, very good year.
Absolutely. But obviously, I mean, I usually call things like that successories. You know, the little accessories that you collect on the way to the big success outfit. And so many people don't realize that it's small things like that that just keep going, you know, taking you to the next leap, to
Yeah,
the
that's
next.
right. But
And
it's not just, I mean, I don't enter awards just for me. I enter awards to show people that despite the adversities that you're facing, despite those life moments that you've been through, or the disabilities that you actually have, that you can still contribute to society and that you can still make a difference and that you can enter against able-bodied people and win, you know, some top awards internationally, which I've done this year.
I think you're really taking that flight message to, you know, and personifying it. You know how they say in the case of emergency, put your mask on first. And I think when you can build that resilience within yourself, that you are against, obviously, like you say, people that are of a different, you know, stature to where you are, it really motivates you to want more, be more, and have more. And I can see Moxie becoming a movement,
Yeah.
not just a book in and of itself. But back to the awards, can you tell us if you've got one that really holds the most significance for you and why?
Look, it would have to be the last year's Geelong Business Leader of the Year.
Mm,
Although it's not a big international award, I was the first disabled person to actually win that award against able-bodied
wow.
peers. So yeah, um, that one's been pretty big. I know that I've won one at the Stevies this weekend. I'm just not sure whether it's a gold, silver, or bronze, and I'll know by Monday morning when they announce it all in New York over the weekend. So that one's pretty big as well, and that's for social change maker in disabilities. Um, to know that I'm making a bit of a difference out there for people with disabilities is huge, and just trying to change the way that people think about disabilities. You know, the universal sign for disabilities is a wheelchair, but the majority of people that have disabilities aren't actually in chairs. So, you know, we have hidden disabilities, or you know, we might walk a little bit different or we look a little bit different as well. So, you know, the disability awards mean a lot to me. I won 2 years in a row now. I've won the Mumpreneur Disabled Business Excellence Awards. So, for gold for that. And I think I've won three of those. I've won a silver and two golds. So, you know, that in itself again means that I'm on the right pathway, that I am doing what my purpose in life is to do. So there's been so many awards, Prosper. I mean, I've won 22 awards now in the last 3 years.
Wow.
And maybe another two this year. So there have been lots and lots of awards. I now am an award writer for other people as well, and I've got a pretty good strike rate on what they've won this year too. So, and just to see their faces when they win an award it's priceless
Mm.
to help people win as well and be recognized for all their hard work. So, but next year I probably won't enter as many awards. Next year I get nominated all the time by people in the community, so that in itself is winning. Even if you don't enter the full award, you know, just you know, someone has thought of you enough to nominate you for these awards. You know, I won the top 10. I was in the top 10 international voices for the International Women's Business Club, and that was in the UK. So I came second for Disability Leadership in Women Changing the World Awards in the UK this year. So there's been so many. So many.
Absolutely. And congratulations. I mean, you being recognized as a leader in disability advocacy obviously really does puts things into perspective, because representation matters. And like you say,
Yep.
people feel like they're being underrepresented because the sign for disability is a wheelchair. And when you're showing up in a space where you know you've got a disability, but everybody else, sort of looks and makes or thinks
Mm.
you are at the same level, it just doesn't hit the same. And I can,
I
yeah.
always give like these organisations feedback as well. You know, I go to their awards nights and they're not disability friendly, or I'll go to a networking event and there's no chairs to sit down on.
Mm,
And, you know, the event might only go for an hour and a half, but I can't stand for an hour and a half. My legs are on fire after about 10, 15 minutes, and I'm shooting electricity out of my toes. And so
right.
I'll give feedback on, you know, you want to hold these things, make sure that there is a lift up onto the stage. 12 steps is a lot to walk up when you can't walk up steps. How do I
Mm,
get up to receive my award if I can't get up the steps? Um, so, you know, here they are handing out disability awards and that, and it's like, well, you know, you've got to think of the bigger picture on how these people are going to actually get these awards or
absolutely.
attend these functions as well. And you know, you've got someone in a wheelchair and they've shoved them right up the back because they can't actually get down through to the front of the stage.
Things like that. And obviously, you being an advocate and representing the voiceless, really. Now, that doctor who told you you shouldn't speak, and also you've been once told you could never work again. I mean, if everybody would see your track record in just the last year alone, then
Yeah, like, you know, most of my work is done on the lounge, sitting on the lounge with my feet up. I have the most beautiful, comfy leather lounge because again,
Mm,
it's adapting and modifying that you don't have to sit in a desk. Like you've got a beautiful office there. There's no way I could work out of that. The only time I'm ever at my desk is doing a podcast
okay. Wow.
because I physically hurt too much to sit in my office chair. And I've tried so many different office chairs, and I'm like, why am I putting myself through this? Why do I need to sit at the desk? For me, it's far more comfortable with my laptop on the lounge.
No, obviously, your journey. This is episode number 2, and I can't thank you enough for being sitting with me and having this chat with me. I know, like you said, you can't take things for a long time, but every time I speak to you, I'm learning something different. And I have so much different perspective and appreciation of right now I'm talking to you. I've never had anybody telling me I can't work. I've never had anybody telling me I can't talk. I would think my kids would be the first people to celebrate that I can't talk, because then
Well, I'm actually sick at the moment. So I'm coming down with another virus, and I'm like, oh no, Prosper's going to interview me today. I've got the strepsils sitting over there because I'm with my grandsons, and one of them's got a little bit of a coldy flu thing. And of course, I get it. I can't not get it with, I don't have that immune system to fight it off that, you know, the general population have. So you just soldier on and go, okay, it's a bit of a sore throat. I'll be sucking lozenges after this one and resting up as
okay.
I go back to my son's shop and help him as well because I'm his business coach while I'm here.
Absolutely. But obviously, speaking of that, and we might as well just wrap up, but your journey from patient to coach and author, and now children's book author and speaker, everything else along, award winner, all of those accolades,
Publisher.
everything else. That have all just happened in the last 1 year. I mean, we're not talking about the previous things and things of that nature. It could literally be described as a true hero's journey. You know what I mean? For somebody who's rising up from the ashes and being told all these things against them, and everything is just coming against them. But there you are at the podium, and you're the person who's road mapping and telling people you too can be, do, and have a happier existence. What are some of the invisible lessons from your journey that you feel could help somebody who's watching right now in their own struggles? Because fish do not see the water that they swim in, and neither can people see the air that they breathe.
Find someone to help you. Find someone to help you. You can't do it by yourself. All the great successful business owners in the world have all got mentors. So find someone to mentor you, find someone to coach you if it's in the business space that you need working on. If it's in your personal life, then there's free phone calls. You can pick up and talk to someone on Lifeline. You can pick up Beyond Blue and call them. Get into your doctor, get a mental health care plan done. That will help pay for some counselling. That's a really good place to start. Your doctor's always a really good place to start. Talk to someone in your family, right? If you have got so much built up, talk to someone or to your friend to start with, right? If you haven't got any other resources, writing it all down, journalizing it, getting it out of your head. I mean, I never leave home without a journal. So writing absolutely everything down. So I don't have to carry it in my head. I'm Dory. I've got that 3-second brain. It all goes. So it's got to be written down. And I have little check boxes at the end of each thing. And when I've done it, I cross them off with that. And it can be in my personal life or it could be in my business life. And it all gets written in that book. So I'm not overwhelmed with it all swimming around in my head. At 3 o'clock in the morning, I might have a new idea or something's come to light. And then I'll ask my phone to record a note that I'll then transfer into my book the next day. Data dump everything that needs to be done in your life. When I first did that, I had 16 pages of stuff that needed to be done. All right, now a couple of pages in an A5 book, not 16 pages in a A4 book. So every new idea, I write it down. I follow Mel Robbins' 5-second rule. Right, definitely. And I follow the rule of making your bed every single day. Because
Absolutely.
at least I've accomplished something if the rest goes to crap.
Well,
The rest of the day goes downhill. I've accomplished something. I've made my bed and it's going to be great when I get into it at night.
well,
There you go. There's a thing.
I think we've accomplished a magnificent episode yet again. And Justin, we might get used to this. Am I allowed to reach
Yeah,
out to you next year again and
for
catch up
sure.
on? Yeah, thank you.
After the book comes out, when the book comes out, when my new book comes out.
I will have my wise eyed open, being first in line, first of all, to get a signed copy, and second of all, just to celebrate a magnificent, resilient human that is showcasing to us that no matter who you are, no matter where you are in life, you too can be, do, and have a happier existence. Now, Justin, it would be
Thanks.
remiss for me to not excite the audience, about what is next and what they can anticipate. I mean, obviously, we know you're going to be coming back on the show, but what else can they follow you up on that they can also come across in the next year or so? Any future predictions,
So,
goals, aspirations?
yeah, the next year I've got Moxie coming out, which is my memoir. Am I allowed to swear, Prosper?
Go ahead. You've earned the right.
Thanks. So my book's called Moxie, How I Learned to Harden the Fuck Up. And everyone wants to know the backstory of it. So it goes right back to my childhood and the trauma that I had through childhood and all the way through and all the different jobs that I've had and all the different medical complications and everything that I've had as well. So that's coming out sooner rather than later. It'll be out within the next couple of months. And we've got a whole new program coming out based on Moxie, and so there'll be keynotes on it, there'll be courses on it, a membership platform, as well as a series of 12 other shorter books. So that's in the next 12 months from that. And I'll continue to publish other people's books. We've got a writing group that we run for people that don't really know how to write. I'm putting together a book on resilience. So we're looking for 100 authors for 1,000 words each. It's $150 each to be a part of it. So if someone out there wants to start writing or have got a story on resilience, and let's face it, everyone does, have that story, they can contribute into the book and can contact me, and I can send them the Google form to fill in their details for that. So that's a big project. We've got around 30 authors already for it, so we're looking for 70 more, and it'll be published as soon as the last person has finished their contribution into that book. And we'll be going hard with that in the next couple of months, trying to fill those spots. So that's very exciting on that project, and to be a part of it as well. And I'm predicting that I can get that as an Amazon best-selling book. So if you want to be an Amazon best-selling author, yeah, get in contact for that one. So there's lots of other things that are happening as well. We'll have the Breaking Barriers project and the docuseries and podcast and the coffee table book all launching next year. We've got the exhibition date, which is around about the 20th, 21st, 22nd, around of February. For that exhibition. Prosper, I'll send you an invite. You're more than welcome to come and have a look at that exhibition, and that will actually be in my house. My house has a art gallery through the middle of it, and we decided that we were just going to hold it there rather than somewhere else. And so all my paintings will come down from the gallery, and we'll put all these portraits up as well. And everyone gets, when the exhibition's finished, all the participants will get a big A3 size picture of themselves to take home. So there's lots on the go, and there's always lots on the go in my world, and it's always evolving as well. So, there'll be things that'll come up in the next 12 months that I haven't even thought about yet.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Justine, for joining us. I mean, for the second time now, and for you going ahead sharing your unbreakable spirit with us. I mean, your life story and your experience has just got so much that if somebody was listening right now, books, movies, series, whatever you call it, but you're already doing that for them anyway. So, because there's just so much for you to document along the journey. I really appreciate you, first of all, for the lived experience. And then, second, you're sending the elevator down to show people that it's a good view up here at the top. And yes, you might have to go through that effect of the elevator. Have you ever felt like your tummy is sinking,
100%.
and a lot of people are holding on. No, no, no. It's just that's how the elevator works.
Thanks for using the stairs, Prosper.
Absolutely, and I can't wait, to get my hands on Moxie and see everything else unfolding from then on. So, thank you so much for everything.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me on again. It's been an absolute privilege.
Absolutely. Now, for those that are watching right now, I know this episode was packed with insights. I encourage you to actually rewatch it if you need that extra boost of resilience. You might have try to race to the end. And I really appreciate if you're watching this part right now that you've actually, allowed yourself to be educated on what resilience is and should look like, and resilience personified according to what Justine has been outlining here. But if you think you got everything from this particular episode, I now encourage you to maybe share this episode with somebody who's going through stuff. They might, have maybe lost their job, maybe trying to get a family started, or they might have lost their business or lost their home or relationship, just something. Give them, a taste of what other people have also gone through and how they're actually documenting their journey, and they are helping others be, do, and have a happier existence. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to the Online Prosperity Show. As you have noticed, Justine has been here before, and if you missed out that, you wouldn't want to miss out on all the other episodes that she has promised to bring back to the show on. So all of them are filled with transformative stories and strategies that will definitely help you be, to, and have a happier existence. Until next time, bye for now.